สวัสดีนักศึกษาทุกคนนะคะ Okay, welcome to my class, speech communication class. So in this video, the focus is on the SMCR model and other things related to communication. Since this is gonna be the first video clip for this course, so I really want you to see a big picture and understand the core concept of the speech communication. Okay, so let me just go over what we're gonna learn in this video. Firstly, you should know exactly what the communication is and also what the speech communication is as well. Then, the communication process. Lastly, the main focus on this video is the SMCR model, which is the model from Berlioz. Okay, let's get started. So firstly, let's start with the first point. What is communication? Let me quote what Tony Robbins have said. The way we communicate with others and with ourselves ultimately determines the quality of our lives. Wow. From this quote, you guys can see that the communication play an important role in our life. We have to communicate with other people all the time. Like for example, when you're curious about the required course and you want to ask for the details from the one in the registrar at our institute, if you did not prepare yourself, prepare the questions that reflect what you really want to know quite well. The officer at the registrar may misunderstood and maybe resulted in your answer. In their answer, which may affect your understanding about the required course and your study life as well. So it's quite important to your life, and the communication is really matter to your life as well. We can conclude that communication is the act of transferring information or message from one place, person, or group to another. It is the exchange of thoughts, message, or information as by speech, signals, writing, or even behavior. So communication is not just our words, or just verbal communication, but also the non-verbal things as well. And therefore, the speech communication, as it tells you by its name, getting the meaning of thoughts one person has in his or her mind, or the message into the mind of another as clearly and accurately as possible by transmitting words with voices. That's what we call speech communication. Okay? Now, let's take a look at these pictures. All these three people are giving their speech with voice. As you can see the microphone in these pictures, right? So what do you see in this picture? You can see their emotion, right? The attitude, or even the tone of their voice, right? From these three pictures. Even these are just a picture, not a video clip, but you still get the sense of their attitude, right? Why? Okay, apart from the speaker, what if we just stand on the stage? No talk yet? Do you think the audience can still sense the emotion or the attitude? Okay, let's find out from this picture. Cute. So, what do you think? I get yes, right? The first picture, which is Nong Payu, I can see that he may feel lonely, or maybe he just hungry. And for the right pictures, The popular meme in the Twitter, he presented lots of emotion, right? Without saying a word, just see their face. People can also communicate their thought to one another. So we can conclude that when it comes to speech communication, it is not just a verbal, not just a word, but the nonverbal communication is also matter. Okay, so now that you know what the communication is and what's about the communication process, what do you think? Okay, let's figure out from this slide. The communication process, what it is. Well, the communication process is a process where a message or your information is being transferred from a sender or the speaker to the receiver or the listener or the audience, whatever. The receiver, after receiving the message, understands the message in the desired form and then act accordingly. So, if the sender transfer the message or the thoughts right or true from their heart, let's say, as they intend to communicate, the receiver then probably understand and resulted in the same way as the sender, which right. Okay, so that's enough about the communication process. It's so simple. So let's talk about the key point of this lesson, SMCR model. As I said earlier, SMCR model, which is a model proposed by Berlo in 1960, quite long time ago, but it's a classic model, like a super well-known model in the communication field. Berlo's SMCR model of communication represents the process of communication in its simplest form. The acronym SMCR stands for source, message, channel, and receiver. And SMCR model of communication describes the different components that form the basic process of communication. In other words, we can say that it is the core of the communication. Here it is. As you can see in this model, it consists of many aspects, right? Starting from source, okay, the source or the sender is the one from whom the thought originates. The sender is the one who transfers the information to the receiver after putting his or her thoughts into words. But how? The communication skill, attitude, knowledge, social system, and culture play an important role. That is, the sender should keep in mind about all of these five aspects if they want to transfer that information to the receiver effectively. First and foremost, communication skill. Having great communication skill could create an impact among the audience. What does it mean by a great communication skill? It means that the speaker should know why and where to take pause, where to repeat the sentences, how to speak a particular sentence, how to pronounce a word, and so on. That's what we call communication skill. Okay, next is gonna be the attitude. If one has the right attitude, the whole world is at his feet. It means everything is going so well, full of opportunity if you have the right attitude. Okay, let's imagine that if the speaker express a negative attitude or a negative inner when they talk about a particular music band to the fan club, even the content is so impressive, do you think it will work? The fan club of this music band is more likely to feel it, right? If you express the negative attitude or negative inner. So it confirms that there is actually no stopping for the person if he has the right attitude. A person might be a very good speaker, but if he doesn't have the right attitude, he would never emerge as a winner. The sender must have the right attitude to create a long lasting impression on the listener. Right. Okay, get it? Okay, next we're gonna talk about knowledge. Knowledge, which is the clarity of the information which the speaker wants to convey to the audience. Just make it clear and be careful in what you want to communicate. You need to know exactly what you want to communicate. You need to know about the content, the main idea, everything about the thing that you communicate to the audience. Try as much as you can to be familiar with what you are speaking. Like before delivering any speech, you need to read a lot and prepare the subject completely without ignoring even the smallest detail, because we do not know whether the audience will ask question or not, so we need to be ready. So be prepared about the knowledge or about what you want to communicate. Okay, next, another important aspect, which is social system. Okay, when we talk about social system, it means that you need to deliver a right speech in the right context. The displeasure of the listeners was simply because the speaker ignored the social setup of the place where he was communicating. If you deliver a speech in a Muslim dominated area, let's say, for example, with the proposal to construct or build the temple, wow, what would be the reaction of the listeners? Can you imagine? Even you prepare your speech really well with the right attitude, but it's not in the right context, right? It doesn't match with the social system. The listener would obviously be not interested, right? So you need to, what should I say? You need to be aware of the sentiments or the feeling about, or the feeling and the cultural beliefs, religious feeling of the audience, which is very important. And all of this we call social system. So be aware about this point as well. And now here comes the last aspect, culture. It refers to the cultural background of the community or the audience where the speaker is communicating or delivering the speech. The concept of the culture is quite the same with the concepts of social system. You need to be aware and maybe you need to do research about the culture or those who gonna be your audience. Try to study as much as you can about their culture. Cultural differences may result in the message being interpreted differently. It may also lead to the misunderstanding of the content as well, right? It's very important, so keep in mind that you need to be aware of this aspect so well. Okay, moving on to the next category of the SMCR model, which is the message. When a person converts his or her thoughts into words, a message is created. And this process is called as encoding. Any message that was encoded comprises of content, element, treatment, structure, and code. Okay, let's figure out these aspects, starting from the content first. A thought has to be put into words. and content has to be prepared. It can be said that the content is the script, is the script of your speech, is the script of your conversation. It is simpler. It should be in simpler words, which is it's gonna be the backbone, the core, the important things of any communication. So you should make it in a simple way, be prepared so well, and try to make it short and sweet. Okay? So the next aspect is the element. What is it? Yes, element, which is a non-verbal aspects, such as gestures and signs that may influence the message. Because speech alone cannot bring a difference in the communication. So, if you want your speech outstanding shy, you will need hand movements, gestures, postures, facial expression, body movement, and also your attitude to capture the attention of the listeners and make the speech impressive. That's what we call the element. Okay, get it? Next, the treatment. What is it? Treatment refers to the way in which the message is sent, the message packaging, let's say. One must understand how to present his message so that the message is conveyed in the most accurate form. For example, if you want to talk about the hand washing steps, okay, hand washing steps, the treatment or the way to present this message, which is the hand washing step, right? It should be in the flow chart, in my opinion, or it should be in the form of infographic, right? Because it's the hand washing step. You should present or deliver your speech in a flow chart in a step 1, step 2, step 3. Yeah, so with this message packaging, this can help you make it clear, and the your speech gonna be so impressive and effective. So be careful about choosing the treatment or the way in which the message is sent. Try to make it suitable with your content. Okay? That's it for the treatment. Now, let's move on to the structure. Okay, structure. It refers to the way in which it is structured. A message cannot be expressed in one go. What does it mean? It has to be properly structured in order to convey the message in the most desired form. Okay, let's take for example. If you want to persuade the audience to do something, you may put your content in the structure of the persuasive speech. Follow the structure of the persuasive speech as you wish, not just speak out like a free form. So this is what we call the structure in this context. Okay? Try to make your content match with the right structure, with your purpose of the communication. Okay? Got it? Okay, the next aspect, which is the last aspect of the message, is the code. Code, what is it? Enter a wrong code and the locks will never open. It's true. It's always true, right? In the same way, the code has to be correct in the communication. Your body movements, your language, your expressions, your gestures are actually the codes of the message. But the code is different from the element. In this case, the code means it can make your verbal and non-verbal accurate. make it true to what you want to convey. Code means both verbal and non-verbal. It can be your body movement, it can be your language, your words, your gesture, everything, but try to make it right true to what you want to convey, what you want to communicate. So if you have the right code, the lock will open. Okay? And that's enough about the message. Next, moving on to the channel. Okay, so we got S for source, M for message, C for channel. How the information flows from the sender to the receiver is what we call channel. It must be able to pick up by the sensory system of the receiver and may therefore involve vision, sound, smell, taste, or touch. Easy? Humans have the following sense, right? Hearing, seeing, touching, smelling, tasting. For the channel, I think it's something that we are so familiar with. When you prepare your speech, just think about these five senses. Let's take for example, like if you want to sell something, like you want to sell a sausage, how you gonna make the message flow from you to the audience? Of course, when we think about the sausage, it comes up with the smelling, the tasting, right? So you need to be prepared and try to express or deliver your speech through these two senses. Smelling, let the audience smell the sausage. Let the audience taste the sausage. Yeah. So with these two senses, it can help you to reach the objective of your your presentation or your speech, because you want to sell sausage, right? So try to choose or select the sense that match with your objective and your product, let's say in this case. So you can accomplish, or you can be the winner of the deliver a speech very easy. Okay, um, and that's it for the channel. Moving on to the last aspect of the SMCR model, which is the receiver. Bellow's SMCR model of communication assumes the receiver's thinking pattern must be in accordance with that of the sender. That is, the communication skill, attitude, knowledge, social system, and culture of the sender must be in accordance with those the receiver. As you can see here from this slide, on your left hand side is the source, communication skill, attitudes, knowledge, social system, culture should be in accordance with the receiver on your right hand side. See? The same factor therefore influence this component in Berlow's SMCR model of communication. After all, the receiver decodes the message, him or herself, and gives it in their own meaning. Okay? Let's see again. Let's take a look at this SMCR model once again. See, this component should be in accordance with the receiver. So it means that the sender should have the same components with the receiver. Try to make it in accordance with each other. Okay, to sum up. Next time when you have to deliver speech, or if you want to communicate your message to someone, do not forget the core of the communication, and try to use SMCR model to prepare your communication to prepare your speech. Okay? That's it for SMCR model. And here's our task. You're gonna watch the SI video clip and then write a short reflection based on SMCR model. And we're gonna talk about the tasks in our team class. Okay, let's enjoy your tasks and we'll see in the next video. Thank you.